Hello, everyone. I hope this finds all of you doing exceptionally well, especially during the times in which we live currently. I just wanted to come on because I want to share with you the revelation that's been given to me in part thanks to the mainstream media and their idiotic questions during the Wuhan coronavirus little briefers every day that the president gives. So what I've found very amusing and very interesting, and actually it's been a revelation to me, quite honestly. Um, I believe it. Maybe some of you have known this. Uh, for me, I lost sight of it and just recently rediscovered how our nation is supposed to work and how it is supposed to be run. So, during some of the questions, a lot of the mainstream media has been harping on, well, why hasn't the federal government done this? Why hasn't the federal government done that? And the president usually turns back and says, well, the governors need to reach out and the governors need to do this and that. And it kind of gets you to thinking, why do we have governors in the first place if all they're going to do is blame the federal government? If you think about it, there is no hospital that should be, there's no hospital that should have a shortage of supplies, whether it be masks, gloves, anything, ventilators, anything. Why? You have hospital CEOs making six-figure salaries. They're the ones who are supposed to be, that's why they have their little, for each hospital, they have their council, their little group. The CEOs are supposed to check and see what the doctors need, order their supplies, and have them stored. Every hospital has that. Every hospital system has that. Hospital CEOs fell down on their job. Mayors, council members, and governors. In each state, I know within the state I live, Georgia, there is a Georgia Emergency Management Agency, GEMA, just like FEMA, but on the state level. What is GEMA supposed to do? GEMA is supposed to have supplies, uh, anything that is deemed necessary in the case of an emergency. That way they can serve, help can get there quicker and faster at a state level. Where have they been in all this? They don't, that's my question. Where have they been? What have the governors been doing all this time? That's my question. What have the governors been doing all this time? The mayors of all these large cities, what have they been doing all this time? We know for a fact that the swine flu, H1N1, killed thousands of Americans back when Obama was in office, and it's just coming to light. Quite honestly, I don't remember the swine flu. I didn't until it was brought up in the news. I was like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that, but don't know anyone who was sick or anything like that. But the the tr- we knew, they knew, not just the federal government, state governments, governors, mayors, hospital staff. Well, I'm not blaming hospital staff right now. I'm talking hospital CEOs. They knew the risk of a pandemic because that was nearly a large one. Okay? Now we have a true one going on, and everybody's like, oh, but the federal government, but the federal government. So my question to all of you, are you going to hold your council members, your city, your mayor, your governor? Are you going to hold these people accountable? Because they need to be. They need to be held accountable. And I'm not talking about, for instance, in Georgia, we have Brian Kemp. Governor Kemp is our governor. Thank God, because the alternative would have been Stacey Abrams, and she would have been a nightmare. She would have been a nightmare. So thank God for Governor Kemp. Thank God for the job he's doing. At least I don't feel, as of right now, that he has really stretched out a strong hand of authority. Meaning, if you look at the press briefing that he gave, as well as a list of essential jobs, I mean, it's very clear. I mean, he goes down to each individual item of every possible occupation and lists what is essential and what's non-essential. So kudos to him. However, where was, say, Sonny Perdue and previous governors? Why were they not creating a stockpile of N95 masks? Why were they not getting with CEOs of hospitals and making sure states had ventilators in storage, ready for use, just in case there was such a time as this? I really don't want to be pointing blame in this video. The main thing that I hope you come away with is, as the American people, if we truly want to take our country back, we have to start locally. Forget, yes, the presidency is important. If a Democrat becomes president ever, based on the platform that they have chosen, this country is toast. It will cease being the United States of America. It will become some communist piece of garbage country, period. And it will not be good. It will not end well. However, our local and state officials must be held accountable. Have you been enlightened through all this that's been going on? Or do you still see, oh, Trump is the boogeyman. Let's blame the president for all our ills and all our woes. Or perhaps, can we just take a step back and look at the bigger picture and see how the hospital CEOs and how mayors, city officials, and governors have failed us, have failed to be able to respond in a moment of crisis. That's about all I want to say. However, I do want to say this. I want to give props. I'm going to end on this because I was out shopping today and it was very encouraging to me. I want to give props to the state of Georgia and the residents around Atlanta. What I saw today was people not being selfish, people waiting in line patiently, people sharing faith, people talking about praying, people being courteous, allowing the elderly and women before, men allowing ladies and elderly people ahead of them without fuss or anything. And so, Atlantans, Georgians, good job. Let's keep it up. It's hard. This whole thing is very difficult. And I would actually like to do a little broadcast on that later. However, I just wanted to cover this right now. So, in saying all that, let's take a step back. Let's assess the entire picture and let's look at the entire thing. See who dropped the ball. See who needs to own it. and let's hold them accountable, whether it be through writing letters, whether it be through emails, whether it be through elections. I guarantee you, if we become enlightened as God has enlightened me, because that's all I can say. I had a veil over my face, over my eyes, because for a long time I believed that so many, anytime something happened, it had to be the federal government that came in and assisted people. And that's not the case. That is not how our country was set up. Why are we called the United States then? The United States, each individual state doing their part, assisting and helping their own people. Why, yes, we'd love for other states to be well, and that's what we want. But at the same time, we have to take care of each state. Each community must take care of itself. And if the governors and the mayors and city council members will not do their job, then we need to get people in those positions that will do their job, that will serve the people who are paying tax money and fitting their bank accounts, feeding them a six-figure salary in some cases, feeding them tax breaks out the wazoo, and they're not doing anything for us. Nothing. So, Americans, let's stand up, evaluate the area you live in, see who dropped the ball. Let's get in touch with them and say, hey, I understand this is a difficult time, but from here on out, I'm holding you accountable. Till next time, take care, be well, God bless.